If you're training with resistance machines like the chest press, then you're training in a manner that means you're sitting down and only using one muscle group. Compared to lifting a rock or climbing a tree, this is a far less efficient way to move and a far less efficient way to exercise. These are compound movements because they use the entire body. This means that the muscles had to work in unison, and we develop functional strength that we can actually apply in the real world without injuring ourselves. When you use your whole body at once, it stimulates neural pathways in the brain, and it helps you to burn much more fat and calories. Think about it. You're powering multiple tiny engines instead of just one. This doesn't only lead to great strength and muscle gains along with fat loss, it also helps us to move better in our lives and to feel more powerful and energetic. The type of training that emphasizes compound movements to give us real-world strength is known as functional training. The idea is that you don't curl a dumbbell because you wouldn't really use that in real life. Squatting, on the other hand, is something everyone should be able to do and that we can actually use in the real world. The same is true of deadlifting, which basically trains our ability to lift heavy objects off the ground. You can actually break this down into 7 primal movements. These are the movements that we would have needed to use in the wild and that we should all be capable of performing under stress. They are gait, that's walking, running, etc. Lunging, squatting, bending, as though picking something off the floor with your legs straight. Torque, that's twisting. Then there's pushing, vertical push, and horizontal push, and pulling, vertical pull, and horizontal pull. What does this look like as a workout? Well, it looks something like this. Gait would be walking, running, or dancing. Lunging would be lunge walking or lunges. Squatting would be squats, kettlebell swings, front squat. Torque or rotational chain would be wood chopper and various oblique exercises, and things like boxing. Bending would be straight leg deadlift, touching your toes, good mornings, leg rises, and so on. Pushing vertically would be press or handstand press-ups, and horizontally would be bench press, chest press, or press-ups. Pulling vertically would be pull-ups, chin-ups, lat pull-down, or horizontal would be rows and inverted press-ups. Now you're not just randomly building up different muscles with no thought of the bigger picture. In fact, you're not focusing on the muscle at all, but rather on the movement and on the ability that you want to gain. This is the difference between being slow, tired, and achy with big muscles, or being a powerful, lean, coiled spring ready to strike. And again, this is all the more reason to start supplementing your training with activities and hobbies like martial arts, yoga, dance, and sports. These will help you to actually use your body as it was intended to be used. You'll feel lighter, faster, and filled with energy. I do have some issues with the whole functional strength movement though. One of these issues is that we likely wouldn't have been lifting all that many barbells in the wild, and when we did lift something off the ground, we probably did so with useless form. Also, gripping onto a boulder is a lot different from gripping onto a barbell. It helps you to develop a lot more strength and power in your forearms and your grip. It also makes you tough, which is something you can't say about a lot of the hipsters who worry about whether or not their legs are the right distance apart before they squat. Old-time strong men had this right. They would train themselves to be able to do awesome things like the anyhow lift, which is basically a lift that lets you use any technique. They'd hold weights above their head with one hand while squatting, and they'd lift bars that were massively thick in order to train their grip. I'm not recommending that you necessarily do this though, as you'll find it's a recipe for injury, unless you're willing, of course, to devote a lot of time to your training. Something that you can do though is to use body weight training. Things like pull-ups, press-ups or push-ups, even rock climbing are excellent because they're functional, compound, and they mimic the way that we would have trained in the wild. When you train using only your body weight, you'll be improving your flexibility, improving your muscle control, your agility, your balance, and more. And at the same time, you'll be able to train easily anywhere. But what if we merge both of these concepts together into something awesome? MovNat is a movement that's popular online right now. It's a portmanteau of the words movement and nature, and it never quite caught on in the way you might expect it to. Search MovNat online and you'll see there's a few videos and a couple of articles, but not really all that much. But the few videos you do watch might just inspire you. These are videos of people running through the woods, doing pull-ups on trees, lifting and throwing logs and climbing up rocks. It's training in nature, and it's combining trail running with lifting weights. And guess what? This combines functional training with the gripping challenges of old-time strongmen and with large elements of bodyweight training. When you do a pull-up from a tree, you're forcing yourself to grab onto a thick branch that will be uneven, rough to hold, and generally a lot more challenging to do pull-ups from. Every branch is different, and so every set of pull-ups will train different muscles and challenge you in different ways. This is just the most natural, challenging, and tough workout going, and as we'll see, there are a ton of other benefits of turning your nearest woodland into your gym as well. How much of this type of training can you realistically do? Well, that's debatable. But on top of your usual gym workouts, your incidental training and your nano workouts, just see if you can't get a few MovNat sessions in as well.